So the last song is Believe, and the question is, do you believe? What do you believe? And I got to tell you that I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because it's a pretty intense story of the things that happened, but they're important parts of it. So I walked away from a job when most people would have killed to have, and I said, I'm done. Can't be a part of some things that were going on. I want to be away from it. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I couldn't buy a job. And I mean, that was crazy. I had thousands of offers, and just all of a sudden, I couldn't buy a job. I couldn't get anybody to even look. And I had this one prospect, and it was going really, really good. And I met with him. Everything looked great. And in the meantime, I had been out there doing stump grinding on the side, just making some extra money. And I walked in one day, and I got, made the call and said, well, what's going on? And I knew just from talking to them it wasn't going to happen. They had pulled their offer back. And it had to do with them not having as much money as they thought they had for the job and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, man, it was deflating to me. It was absolutely deflating to me. And I had been walking really close with God, and I felt like I hadn't. I took my hat and I slung it across my house. It went flying across the floor, and I just fell down on my knees and I screamed at God. I said, I don't know what it is you want from me. And I don't know where you want me to be, but if you'll open that door, I'll go. I've done everything you asked me to do. I'm trying here, but I can't do this. I cannot do this alone. And I need your help. And I need it now. The wolves are knocking on the door. I mean, it was getting hard. And it was a tough feeling. And I was screaming. I'll be honest, I was screaming at God. What do you want? What do you want me to do? I've tried to walk. I tried to do everything, and I just kept on. In a few minutes, I kind of calmed down and apologized for a long time in a prayer about God because I didn't really want to see lightning go through my house. And, I said, I am so sorry, Lord. And I said, but I do mean it. If you'll open that door, I'll go wherever it is you want me to go. And I'll even go to Chicago, and I hate Chicago. I literally said that. And my phone rang in my house, which the house phone never rang unless it was, some kind of bill collector coming in now. At this point, it was getting tough. And the phone rang, and I walked over and answered it, and this man said he was looking for Benjamin Lowe. I said, yes, sir, this is him. And I just thought, well, I don't know what you want, but I don't have enough money to give anybody else, so you get in line. But just knew it was some kind of collection or something. Didn't know why, and wasn't behind on anything, but just what was in my mind. I guess because it was the house phone. And this man told me his name. He told me where he was. He said, I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. And he said, and I've been looking all over for you. I thought, oh, great, what did I do now? And he said, 5 minutes ago, somebody put your resume on my desk, and you were exactly the guy I've been looking for. And I said, okay. He said, are you still available? I said, yes, sir. He said, how quick can you get to Alabama? I said, you'll let me shower, I'll take off right now. He said, no, we'll fly you up and everything. I said, no, I can go right away. I don't have anything pending. Anyway, long story short was, we barely talked about the job because we wound up talking about God. And it was pretty cool. And I knew that this was the right guy. And I said, yeah, this is going to be great. And I was so excited, and I couldn't wait. My wife was working up at the Ford place. A super good friend of ours that owned the Ford place in Henderson decided that he was going to help, and he put Karen to work right away just because he knew what we were fighting. And I'll never forget him for that. But I got excited, and I jumped in. I ran outside, and I jumped in my Jeep, and I had nothing but just the very top of it. Didn't have any windows on it or anything. And I flew out, and I thought, I'm going to go take my wife to lunch, and I'm going to tell her about it. We're going to Alabama, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I have to say this. At least 50 times, she said to me, why don't you just go to one of these other jobs in another state? I said, I'm from Texas. I was born here. I was raised here. I ain't going nowhere. I work right here. Right? She said it bunches of times. When I was on the phone with that man, he told me 4 times, this job's in Alabama. This job's in Alabama. I said, yes, sir. He said, you understand this job is in Alabama? Yes, sir. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. Yes, sir, I understand. Anyway, So I get in that Jeep and I take off and I'm flying. I'm so excited. I'm fixing to, answer prayers right there. We're going to Alabama. This is a company I have worked with through, indirectly for years and years. This is going to be great. I take off out there and I pull out on the highway. And as I pull out on the highway, there is a 1976 Big 10 Chevrolet truck that you couldn't have as many dents in. Just absolutely beat to death, sitting on the side of the road. And as I started around, just took off, this fellow opened the door and he's wearing his white or gray pinstripe overalls and had a lot of dirt and grease on him. And he was slowly getting out of that door, older man getting out of that door. And I, boom, and I'm all excited. And then all of a sudden I thought, you can't do that. You can't drive by and just leave this guy out here in the middle of, there's not much out there. So I whooped over, like I said, with this Jeep, everything's open, right? I threw that dude in reverse and right back up to him. Never even turned it off, just put the brake on and jumped out. And I walked around there and I said, sir, can I help you? And he said, well, and he's trying to open the hood and it was pretty heavy. And I pushed his hood open and it was the scariest sight I've ever seen of wires. And I've seen some pretty bad stuff. This thing had wires going, they were running over the manifolds. It was just, and he said, sometimes if you'll shake on that wire right there, this thing will start. And I said, okay. And he eased back and got in the truck. And I was looking at those wires thinking, there's no way I'm going to reach in there and not get shot or get burnt or something. But I did. I leaned out to the window and looked at him. He said, whoop, go. So I shook the wire. Vroom, truck cranked. I was like, wow, that's a miracle. So I let go of the wire and I turned around and I leaned over and he looks at me funny and he said, shut the hood, son. I shut the hood and I walked around to the door and I said, is there anything, can I do anything else to help you? And can I follow you? Make sure you're getting where you're going. He said, no, sir. He said, I got everything I needed from you. I got everything I needed from you. And I said, okay. And I thought, man, that took 2 minutes. I still make it to get my wife. So I run back in that Jeep and I jumped in that Jeep. It's manual transmission. You guys know how low the gears are on Jeeps, right? First gear, second gear. When I hit second gear, I looked up in my mirror and said, no, I got to follow him. I'm just going to follow him where he's going. No truck. No driveways. Nowhere else to be. I spun that Jeep around. And anyone who has a Jeep knows you can turn around right there. And I turned around right there. And I was absolutely trembling because I could not find that truck. I drove as fast as I could all up and down that road looking. And there's nowhere to go. That truck was gone. And I turned around and I started driving back up. Finally I said, well, I gotta go get my wife. I told her I'd take her to lunch and I started driving back up there and I was just trembling. It took a while before it finally hit me. Because I replayed it in my head over and over and over. And I didn't even tell my wife that day because it shocked me so bad. But I'm telling you guys, and I'll stand here with my hand on the Bible and tell you, I believe I saw an angel that day. And he told me, that's all I needed from you. And it's when I was on my knees and said, Lord, I'll do whatever you want. I'll go anywhere you want me. If you'll just open the door, I'll even go to Chicago. That's what it was. That's what that whole thing was, I think. And I've never seen him again. I spent weeks driving around all over looking for that truck. That truck's not around. So I got to tell you, I don't know where you stand with it all, but I believe. I believe. Old man Jiggy lived in that white house down the street from where I grew